Imagine a nation composed of thousands of islands, largely isolated from the world for centuries. A land where fearless samurai once ruled with honor, where powerful shoguns shaped the destinies of millions, and where emperors watched history unfold. Japan has witnessed devastating wars, natural disasters, atomic bombings, and a remarkable rebirth. Yet today, it stands as one of the world's most advanced and respected nations. But how did this incredible transformation happen? How did a small island country become a global superpower? This is the complete history of Japan. From ancient tribes to modern technology, this is the Japan you have never seen before. The complete history of Japan, from ancient islands to a global superpower. Before exploring the history of Japan, we must first understand the terrain that shaped its people. Japan is not a single island. It is an archipelago composed of more than 14,000 islands stretching along the western edge of the Pacific Ocean. The four main islands, Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu, form the heart of the country. Surrounded by the sea, Japan was naturally protected from large-scale invasions for many centuries. Yet those same waters connected it to neighboring civilizations through trade, ideas, and culture. But Japan's greatest challenge came from beneath its own soil. Located at the intersection of four major tectonic plates, Japan experiences frequent earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and devastating tsunamis. For generations, these natural disasters have tested the resilience of its people, creating a society that is known today for its discipline, innovation, and determination. In many ways, the geography of Japan has not only influenced its history, it has created it. But the geography of Japan was only the beginning. Thousands of years ago, the first humans arrived on this island, and their story would change history forever. About 35,000 years ago, the first humans arrived and began living on the Japanese islands. At that time, the sea level was much lower than it is today, allowing people to reach there via land bridges or by crossing small waterways from the Asian mainland. For thousands of years, they lived by hunting, fishing, and gathering wild fruits and vegetables. Then began the Jōmon period, which is one of the longest prehistoric periods in the world. People of this time created pottery with rope pattern designs. The word Jōmon itself means cord pattern. Later, during the Yayoi period, new people arrived from the direction of Korea and China. They brought rice cultivation, iron weapons, bronze technology, and an organized social system. This transformation laid the foundation for the future powerful Japan. As villages were evolving into powerful clans, one family gradually rose above all the rest. Their name has shaped Japan for centuries, and their descendants remain on the chrysanthemum throne to this day. Between the 3rd and 5th centuries AD, one of the various small clans in Japan gradually became the most powerful. Their name was the Yamato. The Yamato rulers increased their power not only through warfare, but also by forming diplomacy and alliances. They claimed to be descendants of the sun goddess, Amaterasu. This belief made their rule sacred and legitimate to the people. During this period, contact with China and Korea increased. From there, the Chinese script, administrative systems, Buddhism, and new cultural ideas came to Japan. Gradually, the Yamato rulers established the foundation for Japan's first emperors. To this day, the Japanese imperial lineage is considered part of that tradition, as the world's oldest continuous monarchy. With the strengthening of the imperial court, the rise of a new class of elite warriors began. They would become the most formidable and respected warriors in Japanese history, the samurai. The Emperor of Japan was the symbol of the nation, but over time, real power shifted into the hands of powerful feudal lords known as daimyo. To protect their lands and people, they established a special class of warriors, the samurai. The samurai were not only skilled fighters, they also adhered to a strict moral code. This code was called Bushido, which translates to the way of the warrior. The core teachings of Bushido included honor, loyalty, courage, self-discipline, integrity. To a samurai, their honor was more valuable than life itself. If a samurai felt they had lost their honor, they would perform a ritual sacrifice known as seppuku. In 1192, Minamoto no Yoritomo became the first shogun of Japan. From that point on, for hundreds of years, the shoguns were the true rulers of Japan, while the emperor remained primarily a symbolic figure. In 1600 changed the course of Japanese history. Tokugawa Ieyasu emerged victorious in this battle. 3 years later, in 1603, he became shogun and established the Tokugawa shogunate, also known as the Edo period. For over the next 250 years, Japan enjoyed a period of relative peace. Wars decreased, cities flourished, trade expanded, and arts, literature, and culture thrived. However, the Tokugawa rulers made a significant decision. They believed that foreign powers, especially European traders and Christian missionaries, posed a threat to Japan's culture and political stability. Consequently, in the 1630s, the policy of Sakoku, closed country, was implemented. As a result, Japan became almost entirely isolated from the rest of the world. The entry of foreigners was restricted, and Japanese citizens were prohibited from traveling abroad. While this isolation helped Japan preserve its own culture, it left the country significantly behind in terms of modern technology and the Industrial Revolution. For more than 250 years, Japan remained closed off to the rest of the world. But in 1853, everything changed. 4 massive black ships appeared on the horizon. They carried a message that Japan could no longer ignore, and the era of the samurai was about to come to an end. Fade to black. In 1853, U.S. Navy Commodore Matthew Perry arrived in Japan with 4 massive black warships. The Japanese called these ships the Black Ships. Perry demanded that Japan open its ports to foreign trade. The Tokugawa government realized that they were far behind Western powers in terms of modern weaponry. In 1868, the Meiji Restoration began. The shogun's power ended, and Emperor Meiji returned as the central ruler of the state. Following this, Japan began to change rapidly. The samurai system was gradually abolished. A modern military, railroads, factories, schools, universities, and industrial plants were established. Within just a few decades, Japan became the most modern nation in Asia. At the beginning of the 20th century, Japan rapidly developed into a powerful military state. Along with industrialization, their need for raw materials and resources grew. For this reason, Japan began to expand its influence across various regions of Asia. In 1931, they occupied Manchuria. In 1937, the Second Sino-Japanese War began, during which many cities were destroyed and millions of people lost their lives. In 1940, Japan formed an alliance with Germany and Italy, known as the Axis powers. Then came that day in history, December 7, 1941. The Japanese Air Force launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor. In this attack, numerous warships were damaged and more than 1,000 U.S. soldiers were killed. The very next day, the United States declared war on Japan. A devastating war began across the Pacific Ocean. By the middle of 1945, Japan had become weak in the war. Their cities were being destroyed by massive bombing, their economy had collapsed, and their military was also facing heavy losses. August 6, 1945. The United States dropped the world's first atomic bomb used in war on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. Within just a few seconds, the entire city was turned into ruins. 3 days later, on August 9th, the second atomic bomb fell on the city of Nagasaki. In these 2 attacks, hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives instantly or suffered horrific pain due to the effects of radiation. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender through a radio broadcast. The Second World War came to an end. But the story of Japan did not end there. This was the beginning of a new start. After World War II, Japan faced an uncertain future. Most of the country had been destroyed. Its industries were in ruins. Millions of people were struggling to rebuild their lives. Many believed that Japan would never be able to stand on its feet again. But the Japanese people were not ready to give up. Through education, innovation, discipline, and tireless hard work, the nation began an extraordinary transformation. Between the 1950s and the 1980s, Japan witnessed an event that economists now refer to as the, quote, the Japanese economic miracle. Companies like Toyota, Honda, Sony, Panasonic, and Nissan became symbols of quality and innovation worldwide. Japan emerged as a world leader in automotive, electronics, robotics, and advanced manufacturing. From the ruins of war, Japan became one of the world's greatest economic powers. Today, Japan stands as one of the most advanced countries in the world, a country known for its high-speed trains, for cutting-edge technology, for world-class engineering, for a rich heritage, and for a culture admired across the globe. But behind every modern city, behind every bullet train, behind every innovation, lies a story spanning thousands of years, from ancient tribes living in forests and mountains, to the rise of the Yamato kingdom, the legendary samurai, the powerful shoguns, 2 centuries of isolation, the dramatic Meiji Restoration, the devastation of World War II, and one of the greatest economic recoveries in modern history. Japan has proven that a nation's greatest strength lies not in its size, nor in its legendary wealth, but in the sheer determination of its people. History is not just an account of the past, it is a guide to understanding the present, and a reminder that even after unimaginable hardships, A nation can rise again. This is the story of Japan. But Japan is just one chapter in our world's incredible story. Beyond these islands lie ancient civilizations, lost empires, great kingdoms, and extraordinary nations, each with a tale that changed history forever. In our next documentary, we will journey to another remarkable land and uncover the history that shaped it. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, because every nation has a story. See you in the next episode of Worldoria.